live. I'm just gonna level with you people here, and if you weren't here at the beginning of the show to hear the aftermath of the keg stand, I feel fine. I wasn't hungover. The foam left my system, and I felt pretty good for most of the show yesterday. And then went home and had a nice, grilled some nice burgers and had a nice night. But I certainly didn't feel great during the show yesterday, and it was pretty evident. So yesterday at the beginning of the top five, I said, I hope I'm alive, and I am. So I'm back here with you. We're at Texas Beef House, Paul Catalina's top five. Please use promo code SICK'EM10 every time you go to TexasBeefHouse.com. Get 10% off of your order. Top five things the ACC wants you to notice or talk about. Number five, hey, Miami might be better. This is going to be a big talking point because one of the things that Florida State and Clemson rightfully can say is they've won most of the conference titles. They brought in Miami to be a gem of their football brand, and Miami has not lived up to that since Miami's joined the ACC. And so, hey, Miami might be better is a big quote. I'm, of course, using the picture of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, one of their all-time great defensive linemen and celebrities that went to the University of Miami. But let's pump the brakes on Miami until they prove it. I think they're going to be very, very good. I think they're going to be in contention for the conference all year long. But can they get over that hump? Is Mario Cristobal the dude to get them there, or is he the guy who's rebuilding the house before somebody else moves into it? We'll see. He's got some time, but they're going to talk a lot about this. Like, hey, this team might be good. NC State's probably going to be pretty good. Like, Florida State and Clemson aren't the only things that we have. Somebody else has got to win the conference then other than those two. Number four, everyone else is happy, right? Right? This one is the biggest myth because we know North Carolina is already making waves. We have no idea, like NC State and North Carolina are tied together pretty well. Plus, there were 7 schools that were all together unhappy about the ACC and their financial future a year ago. So Florida State and Clemson are just the ones out in front of the breach there. And the other schools have to be sitting wondering, like, hey, what's going to happen here? What's our future? But I think it would be foolish to think that the other schools in the conference, especially the ones that joined before Stanford, Cal, and SMU, are all deliriously happy with what's going on. Florida State's just the one with the biggest attitude about it, and Clemson is following suit because if they're going to do it, why shouldn't they do it? Kind of a thing. But this is the one thing that you'll probably hear a lot of, like Jim Phillips will say, like, we've got great unity in this conference. Everybody else is on board. Yes, we've got the lawsuits. That's a separate thing. You'll hear this a lot. I'm not totally sure that it's true. Number 3, basketball, man. Basketball. We've got basketball coming up in late October, early November. Remember we're going to basketball? Basketball. Basketball. And I love basketball. Garrett loves basketball. Emery loves basketball. Jack loves basketball. Television likes basketball. Television likes college basketball. Television will hang out with college basketball. They don't love college basketball.
They love March.
They love March. For some reason, they don't love February. They don't love January. They don't love November in college basketball. They love football. Football, football, football. So picked my man DJ Burns from NC State here just because I love the round mound of rebound number 2 here. And they're going to try to focus on that, and they should certainly highlight how good they were. Like, Clemson came out of nowhere to be a fantastic team this year. But again, Clemson's probably leaving, so they're going to try to focus on that. But again, they've got to get their football better. Absolutely. Number 2, Jim Phillips is in total control. Like, we're happy, we're confident in Jim Phillips. He's doing a great job. I've seen this before. Jim Phillips was a very good commissioner for the last era of college football. Very good. He is not set up for the new era of college football. Greg Sankey is running circles around him. Look, and I know that Brett Yormark may bite back a little bit when they talk about Big 12 schools. Greg Sankey's out there talking that Georgia got snubbed from the playoff too last year, And Jim Phillips will not say a word about it. Even when asked, he'll be diplomatic, which is fine. But the bottom line is you're letting Greg Sankey run circles around you. And I'll even go so far as to say this. Outside of the expanded Big Ten, if you take the Big Ten as it sat until this year, your conference was as good as their conference, top to bottom, yet you never told anybody that. Tell me, so you've got 3 elite teams, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Michigan just kind of back in being an elite team the last few years under Harbaugh, and you had Clemson, Florida State winning national titles. You had, some pretty good North Carolina teams in there. You had a very good Pitt team in there one year with Kenny Pickett, and you didn't highlight this at all, really? You didn't say, hey, we're as good as them? That stuff never came out. But the Big Ten is worth $90 million a year. You've got another big conference yourself, and you're worth $60 million less. Why? Because you all sat on your hands and signed a bad TV deal. Anyway, and this might be the rantings of one man, but I feel like these things are evident and need to be said. And I will say this. I would rather Florida State and Clemson not leave the ACC. I would rather them stay there, win titles, get in the playoff, and make the ACC better. I think that is better than what is going on right now. But I can see things from both sides where, yes, Florida State and Clemson are being jackasses about this, but the ACC also hasn't done anything to make them stop doing it. It's a chasm. Number 1, all is well. Everything's fine. This is just about Florida State and Clemson. Everything else is fine. Everything else is fine. There's not going to be a run in our conference. Man, if I was Jim Phillips and listened to Brett Yormark last week and then listening to everybody report things, some of them outside their mind and crazy about the Big 12 and what they'll do if the ACC is in any way unstable, I would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We have to really, really stop down and figure something out here because they're in trouble. If Florida State and Clemson get out, and if ESPN in February of next year doesn't exercise the deal to extend the contract because they feel they can make a better one, the ACC is in trouble. Now, are there any definite markers that would indicate that right now? No. There's just speculation. It's all just speculation. But it was all just speculation of the Pac-12 until it happened. And they need to be out in front of it or they'll suffer the exact same fate. And they don't need to look any further than their 2 of their newest members, Stanford and Cal, to see how you can get in your own way. This has been the Top 5. We're wrapping it up right now.